In this video, I'm going to be going over the very basics of CSS media queries, which allow you to make your website more responsive. And we're going to start by learning how we can change the background color of the body depending on the width of the page, to things like changing the font size of elements and making them disappear on certain widths. And before we actually get started, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit me up on Discord or Instagram if you want a private one-on-one lesson. But now, let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is learn how we can change the background color of the body once the width is going to be set to a certain point and over. So to do that, we're first going to open our CSS file, and then we're going to use the media rule. So we're going to write at media, we're going to write some more text. So we're going to write only screen and use the round brackets and then the curly brackets. And this actually ends up being kind of like an if statement in JavaScript or any other programming language, because we have to write something in the round brackets, which is going to be a CSS property and value. So the property is going to be min width, and then the value is going to be 300 pixels. And I'll go over this in a second. So basically, once what we write in the round brackets is true, then we're going to add all of the styles that we write in here. So we're going to select the body, and then we're going to change the background color to whatever you want. I got dark red. I'm going to actually make this a bit lighter so that it's not too dark. So somewhere around here. And so basically what this means is when the window is going to be 300 pixels and over, then we're going to add all of the styles in here. So right now it doesn't work, because if we take a look at the width of the window, it's going to be 200 pixels, and like I said before, it needs to be at least 300. So when we change this to 300 pixels, then we can see the background instantly changes to the value that we set the background color to be. And even if it's going to be max width or it's going to be full window, then we can see that it's still going to work because the width of the window got bigger. And let's actually make this smaller again. And we can actually copy this. Then we need to close it. So copy it, paste it in here, and we can obviously change the background color here to anything else. So let's say blue. And when the window gets to 300 pixels and over, then it's going to change to red. And what you would usually see is the property for the media rule be max width, because when you actually have a website, you would usually style it like this. So from a wide screen, and then you would make it responsive by styling it for smaller screens. So you would basically go down instead of going up with width. So that's why it would usually be max width. And if I save this now, then we're going to see that the color is going to be red of the background, because when you say max width, it's going to be the opposite of min width. So what it means is we need the width to be at least 300 pixels and under, and when that's true, then we're going to add all of these styles. And because the width is going to be 200 pixels, then this statement is going to be true, and then we're going to add all of these styles. But then if the width is going to be over 300, so right now, then it's going to go back to the default styles because we don't have another media rule. And to add another media rule, it's pretty simple. We just copy this, paste it again, and then we can change this to 600 pixels. And here we can change the background color to another color. So let's do green. And now we're going to see that the background color changed to green. And that's because this media is going to be overriding this one. So it should actually be red right now. And to fix that, what we need to do is put this media at the very top. And this is happening because this one was overriding this media. And to fix that, when you use the property max width, then you need the one with the highest number of pixels to be at the very top. And then if you use min width, then it should be the opposite. So now if we save this and take a look, we can see that the width is going to be 200 pixels, which is why it's going to be red. And once it gets to 300 pixels, and it's going to be between 300 pixels and 600 pixels, then it's going to change to green. But then once it gets over 600 pixels, then it should be blue. Let's see if that works. So if we change this to 300 pixels, then now it's going to be green. And it's going to be green till the width is going to be 600 pixels and under. So 500. And now we can see that we got to 600 pixels and 1, which is why it's blue now. And if I set this to full screen, it's still going to be blue because it's over 600 pixels. And now that we know the basics of media query, we can get a little bit more advanced. So let's actually make an H1. I'm gonna write heading number 1, and I didn't mean to do that. We can see that, let's fix the E here. So we can see that it's gonna be too large to be in one line, like in here. Let's actually set the text align to center. So text align center. And what I want is when it gets to a smaller screen, I want it to stay in one line. So what we need is to keep an eye on the width, and then so you can look here or at the very top right, and we're gonna see when it changes, and that's how we're gonna know what to set the max width to. So let's take a look. So we can see it's 280, 277, and at 276, we can see that it's going to be in one line, but around 277, we can see that that's where it changes to one line. So we can copy this, or let's actually just, we can delete all of this, or let's copy and paste this here so that we only have one. And we're going to change this to 277 pixels. And in here, we're going to select the H1, and we're going to change the font size to something smaller. And I'm not really sure what it should be, so let's try 30 pixels. And now we're going to see it change to something smaller. So here it's going to be smaller. And not to change it too many times, I'm going to make this even smaller, so 25 pixels. And so now we're going to see this is going to be the default. Now it's going to get smaller. And we need to make it smaller, I'd say one more time. So right now it's going to be 2077 and 220. I'd say at 220, yeah, that's when we need to change it again. So to 20, we're going to change this to 20 pixels. And I don't think we're going to need to change it anymore. Yeah, so we're going to see this start changing to a smaller font size once the window gets smaller. And this would actually be a very, very simple example of what people would do to make their website more responsive. But what you see more often is special elements or certain elements disappear once the width is set to a certain point. And to do that, you would just set the display property to none. And since the default value depends on the element, it would usually show. So let's say here, we would see the element because this currently is false, so we're not adding these styles. And because the default value is not display none, then we can see it. But then once this is true, then we're setting the display property to none, which is why it disappears. And before I actually end this video off, I'm going to show you a real example of how I use meta queries. So this is going to be my personal website, which I'm currently working on, and it's not done. So if you inspect the website and click on this icon, you're going to be able to change the dimensions of the website. And this is all I have done. So I currently have two sections. I have an about me and then basically the banner. And this is what it's going to look like on a monitor. But when we make it smaller, we're gonna see this image and this text disappear because I want to look different on mobile phones and then uh, on a PC. So that's, and it's also not gonna look that good on smaller screens. So I decided to basically change it to a profile picture, kind of like, and then it changed a bit, so the layout changed. And so this is what it would look like on a laptop. And if we take a look now, we're gonna see all of this text disappear on a phone, and we're just going to end up with Ron because that would be too much text on smaller screens too, and that's what it would look like on a phone. So we can actually choose, let's say, iPhone 12 Pro. That's what it would look like on it. And now if I scroll down, let's actually make this a bit bigger. So around here, there's still a lot of things I need to fix, but this is what it would look like on a smaller screen. So let's actually just keep it on here. So if I scroll down here, this is what it would look like. And if I make this larger now, we're going to see the layout change again. And there's obviously a lot more things that I need to fix, work on, and add. And if you're interested in watching me do that, then make sure that you give me a follow on Instagram where I share my work. And this is where I'm going to end this video off, so make sure that you leave a like, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any new upcoming videos and lessons. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, video requests, or anything else that you would like to say. Hit me up on Instagram or Discord if you would like a one-on-one lesson on web development, and hopefully see you in the next video.